Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mias and welcome to the OCG metagame breakdown number 3 and 4 combined in once. And by the way, please be honest with me, if you clicked on this video, was it because of the thumbnail when you saw B Buster Drake? Personally, if I actually saw Buster Drake on a thumbnail, the first thing that would come to my head was, oh shit, ABC is actually a top tier deck. Well, not really, but at the same time, I wasn't really, clickbaiting you with the Buster Drake thumbnail, so let's get into it and you'll understand soon enough. So, this is covering, I believe, this is only a couple of, no, that's actually just a week. That's not too much. But the OCG actually has real, physical events, so it is actually kind of huge. So anyways, here's the pie chart, or the pizza, whatever you want to call it. Virtual World is still getting 19.4, so I guess they're back up. Now, Virtual World is still the number one deck. Kind of, you can't really argue too much with, because the worst that Virtual World was in the past couple of months was tied with second. So it was like tied first and second, but it was never like actual second or third after a certain deck. So that kind of means a lot, honestly, and it's one of the things that actually really motivates Konami to be a bit more harsh with their ban list. So VFD is definitely the one card to actually kind of cripple, and if anything, maybe hit the consistency just a tiny little bit. But if you ban VFD, what I would say is just ban VFD, don't hit anything else in the Virtual World deck. Actually, no, that's not necessarily the best idea, because people could just actually play Hand Loop Turbo. Whatever. I mean, Hand Loop isn't really as scary, because you need to commit a lot, and you can't really play through interruptions as well as VFD. And Shen is actually still a really good card. So honestly, even without VFD, Virtual World is still a very respectable deck. Anyone can agree with me. Anyways, the second best deck... Now, this is actually something that personally shocked me a lot, because every single OCG metagame breakdown I was doing, before, in the past couple of weeks, I was always saying, why is Drytron not doing well in the OCG? And in the TCG, it's, insane. Everybody's playing Drytron. But yes, they've actually kind of finally caught on to it, but it's not necessarily just because they woke up to it. Maybe they already knew that the deck was good, but maybe something else made it good. We never know. I'm going to show you very soon, don't worry. And then Zoodiac, of course. I personally don't like pure Zoodiac. I don't think it makes too much sense. I feel like too many decks kind of have a good matchup against pure Zoodiac, so it getting 13.9% of representation, kind of weird. I don't know, I can understand that, because if you're really good with pure Zoodiac, it's definitely a good deck, but I don't know. Zoodiac Eldritch was always getting more representations in the top cut, but at the same time, I don't know how good conversion rates are, because maybe for those 10 Zoodiac players that topped, like over 100 players played or something, and the percentage wasn't that good, but then Zoodiac Eldritch, not a lot of people played it, but a lot of people ended up doing well. So at the end of the day, just sheer numbers don't necessarily mean that much. It's just... It's just a raw data. It doesn't mean anything technically for analysis purposes, but at the same time, if you actually have the amount of people who actually play the deck in the event, then we can actually figure out conversion rates, and that's actually quite impactful. Anyways, the fifth best deck is Dragon Maid again, but actually, I shouldn't really say Dragon Maid, because it's 10 billion decks tied, so... Dragon Maid, Phantom Knight, Prank Kid, Salamangreat, Shadow, and Ignister. Yes! Finally, this deck is actually... This is the new really good Cybers deck, actually, that I want to say. It's pretty much like Salamangreat 2.0. They literally have, that Link 1 Valinx that Salamangreat has for Sanctuary, but for Salamangreat, Sanctuary is just not a good card. You can't really draw it and be in a good mood, whereas whereas Ignister, the AI field spell, is... really good. It's actually really good. It summons 5 or 6 monsters from your hand, one of each of the attributes, so It's the go-to extender. I want to say without the field spell, you're not really playing too much. And there was also when AI first met you or something like that. Another pretty respectable card. That's the Searcher. Doesn't search any Cybers, I believe, only Ignister monsters. But still, Ignister is definitely a deck that I want. By the way, I call them Ignister, not Ad Ignister. Don't be confused with Ignister Prominence, the Blasting Draco Slayer. But yeah, I definitely want to do like combo, deck profile, etc. on that deck. Prank Kids, honestly, I can't really like this deck because I keep repeating myself over and over again. It's just the worst version of Zoodiac. And I don't know. It doesn't suck, but it's just not the best through interruptions. And if it had like a cheat way to win, like Zeus, then yes, Prank Kids would have been Prank Kids would have been the best deck in the game, because just mechanically speaking, like the design, inherent like mechanism of Prank Kids is actually already a tier 0.5, or actually I want to say a tier 0 strategy, like a, not tier 0 strategy, but a tier 0 like principle, like the fact that one single card makes you a full combo every single time. You don't really have to play any bricks, but apart from that, the deck isn't that appealing to me. Salamangreat is much better in the OCG than in the TCG, if I recall correctly, because they have Deco Talker Heat Soul, which is pretty much insanity, and that's also the reason why Code Talker is actually extremely good. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Deco Talker Heat Soul is a Link 3 Cyberus monster that I believe requires 2 Cyberus monsters with different attributes, if I recall correctly. And then once per turn during either player's main phase, I think, you can pay 1,000 life points, draw 1 card. So what the heck, you draw 1 during your turn, draw 1 during your opponent's turn. And also, if you have, I think, something less life points than your opponent, you can summon like a Link 3 or something, whatever. But the most important thing is the fact that you're actually drawing into a lot of cards, and it's kind of free to summon. It's just a Link 3, and it's not a lot of effort. But yeah. Anyways, now a lot of one-ofs decks. So Atlantean Mermail, Endymion again, but the last metagame breakdown, Endymion Mythical Beast was actually up there. I don't know if it was necessarily playing Mythical Beast, but Endymion was definitely much higher on the pie chart. So yeah, kind of shocked to see that now they're back to 1. Maybe it was just a fluke, honestly. Sometimes it's kind of just trends and you just follow them. A lot of people just were like, oh, by the way, do you want to have fun and play Pendulum today? Yeah, sure, why not? So yeah, but I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be really stupid, and maybe just the new set actually was the reason why a lot of things changed. So yeah. Anyways, Lyrillus Tri-Brigade, really cool, man. There was a deck that actually won, I think, a Duel Academy tournament. By the way, so I technically work for Duel Academy. I'm not a coach, but I'm actually a deck doctor. So yeah, imagine if you actually submit your deck for deck doctor, I might actually be the one working on your deck list. Who knows? Yes, I'm probably gonna make like a more detailed Duel Academy video like soon, but yeah. Anyways, Machina, Madolce, Magician. Actually funny how Magician and Endymion aren't even the same deck, even though they're both Pendulums, but no. And then Orchist, which once again, in my eyes, Orchis should be like way up there. They still have so many cards, man. They have Harp Horror, they have freaking everything, man. Anyways, Prank Kids, Thunder Dragon, Spiral, Trap Tricks, whatever. Trap Tricks finally getting tops, but it's only 1, so it doesn't matter. Alright, the first deck list that we have is Virtual World, and for the main deck, there's absolutely nothing interesting outside of one thing that I think gives me cancer. Well, 2 things. First of all, he's playing 2 Gamma and 1 Driver. I hate this. It's not good to look at. And also, he's playing 1 less Virtual World card than the average deck, because he's only playing 2 Nyan Nyan but 0 Tutu. Whereas other deck lists that I have been seeing, when they play 2 Nyan Nyan, they play 1 Tutu, or they play 3 Nyan Nyan with 0 Tutu. So I don't know. I would definitely... First of all, I would never play Gamma as a 2-of for that ratio with 1 Driver. And also, King Long... Wasn't this, like, defined as a necessary 3-of because it's pretty good? I don't know. At the same time, it's not like I was personally the Virtual World god, so I can't really tell, but this doesn't feel right. 2 Gamma, 2 King... I don't know, man. I don't know. The extra deck is normal. Now, this is the spicy part. He side decks Skill Drain for combo decks because Virtual World monsters, they actually fully resolve in your hand. They are pretty much always unaffected by Skill Drain, as a matter of fact. So only your extra deck is affected by Skill Drain, but that's not the end of the world. It's really easy to get into a Zeus, which has 3k attack, 3k defense, and on top of that, Chooch is really easy to access because once again, even under skill drain, you can still search out the Chooch, pop your opponent's cards, etc. So you have good board presence and control just with trap cards, skill drain, hand traps, and your virtual world constantly getting back more resources. And also another thing is that if you just want to get rid of your own skill drain, you can do that at any point just by, oh my god, so annoying. I did just realize that was there. Just by popping it with your own Chooch, so that's pretty nice. And apart from that, the side deck, we're seeing Jewel and Logbird a bit more in the side deck, I think, because now Drytron is actually becoming a thing. So yeah, let's jump into Drytron and why they're good. So get ready for the Heart Attack, which actually isn't here, I think. Oh, it's gonna be in the side deck. Anyways, so Herald of Ultimateness and not Herald of Perfection. Herald of Perfection is searchable by pre-preparation of rites, because the ritual spell for Herald of Perfection specifically lists it, but at the same time you don't really want to play that because the ritual spell itself isn't really good, so Herald of Ultimateness is all you need. 2000 attack, 3000 defense, slightly better stats. It's really easy, I want to say, for your opponent to just inherently summon a 3k monster and just jump over a perfection, whereas ultimateness, it's basically impossible. I can think of like Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon, Zoo King Alpha, so even if you have like 5 negates on your Herald of Perfection, you still can't do anything about it. And besides, Herald of Ultimateness can negate summons anyways, so even if you don't have access to Vanity's Ruler, it's not the end of the world, you're good. And then 3 Benton, 1 Natasha. Natasha is definitely that really important card in the deck right now. Vanity's Ruler, everybody and their mother is playing Vanity's Ruler now. They're also playing Diviner of the Heralds alongside 2 Ava? What? I have not seen this before. Interesting. Yeah, really similar to Jesse's list. I mean, he's the innovator of this deck. Obviously, right? Obviously, it's freaking Jesse, man. Cotton Candy. I think he watches my videos, so yeah, he might actually recognize himself in this. And then 3 Alpha, whatever, Thuban, Beta, I don't even know their names, but Ritual Guy, Searcher, Ritual Spell, Searcher, Monster Reborn, draw 1 card if you reveal a ritual spell or monster from your hand. Of course, 2 Maxi and 3 Ash, even though you could play 3 Maxi. 2 Maxi just, I guess, makes sense when you're playing a combo deck. Combo decks are taking over, by the way. It's not really that Virtual World is a combo deck per se, but it is a deck that kind of can lose to Maxi in a way. That's how I kind of consider, or rather classify a deck as a combo deck, even though it's not, that's actually not true. Maxi, Called by the Grave, Cross Out, just all that bullshit, just so you counter Maxi. That's just not. And freaking Herald of Orange Light, that's actually kind of shocking, man. Your opponent goes Maxi, you can even go Herald of Orange Light negate. And people don't main deck Nibiru, because Nibiru, for some reason, I don't know, people don't really want it too much. But let's get into the rest of the feel like I already spoiled it, man. 3 Emergency, 2 of the Ritual Spells, and 2 Nova, with 1 Fafnir. I don't know, maybe I'm stupid and I can't really see it. The 1 Fafnir, I don't know. I guess they just don't like redundancy. Because the thing is, maybe when you maxi your opponent, you draw so much, you don't want to draw like the same card over and over again. Which kind of contradicts why you're playing 3 Diviner of the Heralds with 2 Ava. And then 3 Emergency, but only 2 Nova. I don't know, I'm pretty sure nothing has been hit in the OCG yet. If something did actually get hit, I'm just actually really stupid for not being aware, but I don't know. I just feel like it's pretty sketch. Maybe he's trying not to lose too hard to Retaliating Sea, but that makes no sense because you're still playing the Ritual Spell, which I think, by the way, you don't need 2. 1 is way more than enough. It's really easy to get access to this little boy. And even then, Diviner of the Herald is also easy to access, so I don't know. I kind of disagree with a lot of things in this deck list, but at the same time, it's not like I was a god. So yeah, the extra deck has nothing too interesting outside of the rank 1 Drytronic Seas that is kind of new. And this is the Heart Attack time, so Buster Drake, yes, he cannot summon ABC Dragon Buster, yet he still actually went and played Buster Drake in his side deck out of everything. The last time an ABC letter card was played in a deck that wasn't ABC, if I recall correctly, was maybe Assault Core with Cannon Soldier and Firewall FTK. But, like, what the heck? So, I don't know, Assault Core was kind of just limited. No, it wasn't even bad. It was limited for infinite loops with Firewall and Cannon Soldier. Buster Drake, it's that kind of card that if you tell someone, oh yeah, I'm playing Buster Drake in my Drytron deck, they're gonna laugh at you, but it actually makes so much sense now because your Union Carrier is actually quite resourceful. On top of actually getting you access to Dawn Knight, which they don't play, by the way, you can you can also get access to Ava for more searches, or you can cuck your opponent quite hard by equipping Buster Drake to your Vanity's Ruler. So Dark Ruler no more, no, get out of here. Forbidden Drop, Regeki, no. Forbidden Chalice, none of that. So even if you don't have Herald and stuff like that, it's not a big deal. And also another thing that I want to say is that Union Carrier is actually going to boost the attack of your Vanity's Ruler by 1,000 when you equip it with something. So Vanity's Ruler is basically essentially going to have 3,500 attack, so it is no longer a Dragma punishment target, meaning that there's kind of just no way your opponent can easily clear a Vanity's Ruler. And on top of that, as an added bonus, if your Vanity's Ruler would actually die, your Buster Drake actually takes the fall instead. So that's like a 20 billion in one. And of course, you search for something which obviously is never going to come up. You don't play any Machine Unions in this deck. That would be kind of sketch. But yeah, your Buster Drake is just really, really nice at protecting Vanity's Ruler. That's kind of... I don't know, that's really innovative. Nobody really has been doing things like that in the TCG that I have been aware of, at least, because outside of the Buster Lock and Infinite Negate bullshit with Miss Valley Thunderbird, there has really been nothing with Union Carrier. Like, when we still have Orchist Harp Horror, people were going send Orchist Nightmare or even Harp Horror, whatever, and then pitch, and then you could kind of get like an Orchist engine the same way Mermaid did, just with two monsters with different, like the same type or attribute. But now it's not really the same thing anymore, so yeah, just being able to do really creative things like Buster Drake, and it's just a matter of time before maybe people are going to play Crush Wyvern as well for those trap decks. So yeah, we never know, man. That could actually be quite interesting. And then for the rest of the side deck, once again, Joel and Lockbird, the third Maxi, just so you're kind of safe. Lancia is always a great card against Virtual World, so that's just really good. And also, it protects you from them using Crossout Designator or, you know, Called by the Grave on your other hand shops, which is also quite important. And the rest is whatever. Now, the third and final deck that I'm going to show in this OCG metagame breakdown is actually Zoodiac, of course, and there is really nothing much to say outside of, I just like how people are kind of playing the deck. 3 Thorblade, 3 Viper, 3 Ram. Bunny Blast, I'm so glad the OCG is playing Bunny Blast. It's such a good card. I was like, how are people in the like in the TCG, allergic to bunnies? Bro, it's really nice. It kind of replaces Broad Bull, because Ram, sure, you get a monster on the field, but sometimes you kind of want the card in your hand. So it kind of, like, I don't know, plays around, like, I don't know, it's kind of like if you searched, you know? Because you're foolishing from your deck and then you recycle it back to your hand. So Bunny Blast is nice, and also it protects your, Drancia for getting hit by Forbidden Chalice, which isn't really important, so yeah, that kind of doesn't really matter. And then Rat, Skullmeister, DD, how many hand traps is that? 5, 7, 10, 12, 13... Yeah, I play 13 hand traps in my 41 card deck. That's approximately 1/3. 13 or 14, yeah, whatever. No Infinite Imperm, yeah, and no Veiler. They're kind of just the same. Ghost Bell is getting better and better, so you could actually get away with 3 Ghost Bells, but at the same time, people are actually kind of also dropping the pure Eldritch Trap deck, which is a deck that actually loses quite hard to Ghost Bell, ironically. You can use it on Scarlet, and also Ice Dragon's Prison. Skullmeister can be used against a bunch of... yeah, just a bunch of decks, honestly. I mean, it can even be used against King Long, Chooch, all that good stuff, you know. Ogre is just not great, but as a one-of, you don't really have nothing to lose. And DD Crew, I just like the fact that he's varying out the hand shops. It looks really clean and appealing to me. Also playing 2 Tenki, because this card kind of has a tendency to brick, not gonna lie. Even though you feel like you're playing more consistency cards, if you draw like 2 or 3 Tenkis, you're actually laid behind. Ironically, I want to say. Well, 2 Tenkis, it depends, but if you draw like 2 Tenkis and a bunch of Zodiacs, you really can't play the game anymore, so... yeah, just like dropping it down to 2 just to ensure that you can't clog on redundancy too much is absolutely fantastic. And that random living fossil that kind of just acts as a good extender in a way. It's not too bad. Another thing that I want to say, once again, 3 Zeus this time. 3, he's going ham. And he's not playing Megaclops, only Ossa as the Link monster, which I also kind of like. He's playing that Pankratops in the side deck that you can search if you happen to crash your Ossa, which is a play that you have to be aware of, because you can't really improvise and be like, oh, and by the way, I just realized, no, yeah, you kind of have to know when you should actually do moves like that. But yeah, I mean, I like pretty much everything I see here. Outside of, did you really need 2 Hammer Kong? Could you not play like a third of something else? Or, I mean, the materials, they're not really that important. You just summon on top, and you don't really care which monster it is, except if it's like Laika or Drencia. But even Tigress is kind of irrelevant. And I don't really have too much to say for the side deck. I mean, 1 random dimensional barrier, reboot, anti-spell, order. Is Red Reboot limited, or I think even in the OCG it might still actually be limited, because yeah, every time, yeah, exactly, those 3 decks, side deck reboot. I mean, Zoodiac, it's because you send everything, but at the same time, against Eldritch, even rebooting into Zeus doesn't make much sense, because they kind of just set a card and then they get back all the resources next turn, so you have to apply way too much pressure, and you pay 4k, so it's not the best. And then Virtual World, you can OTK in a virtual world. It's not easy, but I mean, it's actually kind of easy, to be honest. And in Drytron, it's literally a joke. I mean, the monsters have 2,000 attacks, so even though for the most part, you can't summon them and attack, because of the Gamma reviving back from the graveyard and Nova being able to summon and attack, you kind of can, so I guess that's that. And in conclusion, yeah, I mean, it was really that, actually. I was right. It was basically the rank 1 Drytronic Seas that really propelled or whatever the deck, the Drytron deck to the top. And also Ignister or Ignister, whatever, became way better with these 2 cards. So Dark Infant, if I recall correctly, is the Link one. And then When AI First Met You is the search card. So now let's get into some whatever top decks first, second, third. So this is the exact same as that I showed. Second place is yeah, just a pretty another like kind of, I mean, the only interesting thing here is the fact that he's actually citing kaijus in a format where you have to worry about Vanity's Ruler and VFD being able to be just not really care too much about. I mean, the fact that people actually pop their own VFD to protect it is already proof enough of the fact that kaijus don't get you there. You don't want to clear a VFD to still be under its lingering effect. All you want to do is negate it so you can successfully play. So I don't know what this kaiju was really intended for, and even against Zodiac they kind of want to go second most of the time, so I don't really get it. Drytron, this is basically the exact same. Yeah, I recognize the 2 Nova, 1 Fafnir, 2 Ritual Spells, etc. And the 4th deck was actually Phantom Knights. Interesting, so I don't understand too much why everybody's not playing a lot of Phantom Knight cards. No Tour Guide, I definitely like that. I don't like Tour Guide. Nyan Nyan is hilarious. Oh my god. Wait, doesn't Nyan Nyan actually lock you under like the virtual world restriction of like level / rank 3 or higher monsters? Because that would screw you over from making Cherubini and Rusty Bardish. Unless if Nyan Nyan doesn't have that restriction, I don't know. And by the way, this gives me tears to my eyes, the fact that they have the luxury to afford 3 Orochimarus and 2 Jackalopes. That's Happy Land City. And of course, I also like what he's doing. Cross-out Designator with only 1 of the handshots that actually terrify him. So Lancia against Phantom Knight is G to the G. If you get Lancia, it's game over. So if you have Cross-out Designator for that Lancia, you have to play at least 1 Lancia, which makes sense. And also playing only 1 Forbidden Drop. We are actually going to be seeing this quite a lot in the TCG, where you start playing 1-ofs that look random, but they are no longer random because of Cross-out Designator, so definitely makes sense. And then Tier Scale is just pure insanity. It's the better tour guide, honestly. It's the more stable tour guide, because you still have a resource in the graveyard, you can banish it and keep playing. So yeah, much better. Grafseer, I feel like Defrag Dragon would be good in this deck, and I would definitely play more Phantom Knights, but at the same time, that would be in a TCG build, and I wouldn't have access to all those dangers. I would only have 2 instead of 5, so things would be quite different, and also only 1 emergency teleport, only 1 Called by the Grave, no crossout designator yet, so the TCG build would be so incredibly different, and also no maxi. Yeah, there's literally like a 15 card difference or something ridiculous like that, and I don't really want to talk about the side deck too much, outside of the fact that he's playing one Farfa, which is cute, but not main decking Foolish and side decking it. That's rather a foolish idea, if you were to ask me. But anyways, that's all I had to say in showcase for this beautiful OCG metagame breakdown. By the way, this this idea of actually going through first, second, third, fourth deck at the end of the Road of the Kings article was actually brought to me by my boy Matthew Mileto. So huge shout-outs to you if you're actually watching this. It's actually thanks to you that I will be doing this moving forward. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you very, very soon. Peace.